Good evening and welcome to the Group 2 Race 2 at the Austrian track for the Red Bull Ring for the Invictus Cup, which is sponsored by Nail Couture and gridfinder.com. I am one of two commentators for tonight, Malc. With me as always is Craig. How you doing, mate? You alright?
Yeah, doing very well, enjoying the sunny weather up here in Scotland and looking forward to the second race of Group 2 this evening at the Red Bull Ring.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's just been an absolute classic from what happened last week at the Canadian Grand Prix. We've had wet conditions on both groups from last week, so are we going to expect the same in Austria, or do you think there'll be a bit of a difference tonight?
The weather's sometimes a little bit unpredictable here near the mountains. Sometimes we can start wet, finishing dry, and vice versa, similar to what we saw at the Circuit of Villeneuve last week. I think a lot of the drivers will be hoping for a dry race after the challenging conditions, particularly in Group 2 where we started on the full wets, then transitioned onto intermediates, then went the full dry at the end of the race. So I think, yeah, drivers will be hoping for flat-out racing on a very dry rubber-done circuit.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's one of the shortest corners of the shortest track, shall we say. There's about 10 turns, so we can look forward to see a few overtakes at especially the first sector into the second as well. That'll be immense stuff as well. But before we carry on, we're going to go straight to the driver standings just to give you a bit of a recap of what happened last week. Rimper, the F2 drivers champion, he has got off to a flyer for Team 7 with the massive win. Then you got Stefan, who got second place, and then you got Ryan after that struggling start. He got himself into third place, to be fair, and it's just an immense stuff as well. So that is crucial, especially in this stage where Team 9, I will try and get the standings up. There we go. So we've got the constructors. So obviously with Rimper, Matty, Tali and Beck with 51 points. You got Stefan, Ryan, Prepsy Boy and Ivan with 42 points, and the rest are under 42 points with 39, 28 and 25 respectively. But again, the first race is always going to be crucial for all these guys, but hopefully this could be crucial, especially on some of these teams tonight, Craig.
So if they can open up a good distance between themselves and the teams behind, it will give themselves a little bit more of a comfortable race next week in Mexico.
Absolutely, and I can't wait for it, to be fair. I think that first race at Canada, at the Circuit Jules Villeneuve as well, so it just brought us some epic battles, especially in that Group 2 where after Ryan had that struggling start, he got himself back up to the top 3, and he'll be one to watch again tonight. Do you agree, Craig?
Yeah, absolutely. Just waiting for all the drivers as well. Just a quick update. That we're just waiting for all the drivers to get into the lobby, and we can get tonight's race underway. So I'm hoping that we will have a very tight qualifying with it. You mentioned earlier on, Malc, that it's the shortest track on the calendar in terms of time, so it is absolutely vital that each driver nails each braking point, apex and traction as well out of the corner, particularly the slow turn 2 at the top of the hill. It's going to be vital that you just nail every part of this sector, because any mistake is going to result in you toppling down the timing charts.
Absolutely, and I think we're going to see some close times. I reckon we might get probably 105s, would you say? 104s, 105s?
I think we'll see times much lower than that. I'm opting for the high 1 minute 3s
1 minute 3s, okay.
It will depend on the conditions of the circuit, of course, but nearing the end of the session, I do expect that we will see the high 1 minute 3s.
1 minute 3s. We'll have to wait and see if it is going to happen now. So we are about to start for Group 2, Race 2 at the Red Bull Ring in Austria for the Invictus Cup, which is sponsored by Malc and gridfinder.com. Please check them out, guys. They do brilliant things in their specific departments as well. So we're just lining up for the teams and ready to go. So we should be able to have a classic, to be fair. So if you are watching the stream, good evening to you all. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the Invictus Racing League YouTube channel for all the live races of the Invictus Cup up to the end of June. And I'll tell you what, I reckon we're going to see a few more unbelievable moments, as we always say. So we're just waiting for the last bits of the loading, and then we'll be kicking off in Austria, to be fair. So we are aiming for at least 10 likes, so if you can, please make sure you like and subscribe. It would be a massive help to Invictus Racing League on the YouTube channel as well. So we should just get in the settings already. So yeah, we've got 16 drivers, should be kicking off, and we will be able to kick off with to see who gets the perfect moment as well. And it looks like, unless I'm mistaken, we might have a dry race. Unless I'm mistaken, it is dry in the qualifying, but if we are going to get it throughout the race itself, it'll be an absolute belter, to be fair. So hopefully we'll get a few more situations as we get on. But some of the drivers have just come out now, so looks like Ryan has also got out as well. So we'll watch Ryan now to see where he's got into. But Craig, is everything okay from your side?
Yes, absolutely fine. I just left a little bit out. Some of the members were commenting that there was a strange effect on my voice, so I think it was sounding quite robotic, so hopefully by leaving the session and rejoining that it resolves that issue and we can get on with qualifying. But you mentioned there, Malc, that it's a dry qualifying session, so this will be to the relief of all the drivers participating in tonight's race.
Hopefully so. We'll try and see some unbelievable moments, but we do apologise if we do have any technical difficulties. We will get them sorted as soon as possible as well. So we're just watching Ryan now coming up to do his lap now, coming up to turn 1. So he's just trying to push on massively in that Alfa Romeo car now, and come up to that kick in that turn 2 into the turn 3. He's done a 15.841. So he's trying to push on massively. We've got yellow flags on sector 3. We're not sure where that's coming from, but hopefully we'll try and get that sorted as quickly as possible. But it looks like everything's okay. Come up to the second sector. This is the part where it's pushing on massively into... I feel like the second sector is more challenging because you have to try and keep that car, try not to invalidate, which he has done, to be fair. So he has invalidated his lap. So hopefully he'll try and bounce back as quickly as possible. But looking at Towley now to try and see what he can try and do. But yeah, Craig, I mean, I'm hoping the voice is okay. I do apologise if it is any technical difficulties. But from your point of view, Craig, what's your thoughts of the times? You are right, we have hit the 103.349 tonight.
Yeah, impressive opening lap there from Burmeister at 103.3, so laying down the gauntlet very early, and as disaster here for Mr. Steam, just running wide outside the turn 10 validates the lap, and he will have to go again. Hopefully he'll have enough fuel on board, enough ERS that he can just press on and set a qualifying lap on his second run to save time from opting back into the garages, putting on a fresh set of tyres and going again. But Rimper beats Burmeister straight away with a 103.2, so Rumper really looking to get back-to-back pole positions as well there, Malc.
Yeah, he really wants to try and get that double win, back-to-back wins, to be fair, and I've been really impressed with his driving, as well as obviously he's an F2 Drivers' Champion, Craig, so, and Ryan trying to push on massively into the 103.3s now. So hopefully we'll get that sorted as quickly as possible. But yeah, well done to Rimper for getting into the top 3 with a 103.283, I believe. So that's a good time there, Craig.
Yeah, Ryan just slightly off Rimper's time with 200ths of a second, but as we'd mentioned earlier on, Malc, a very short lap, so I do expect that the times will be incredibly close, as we can see the top 4 drivers all within 1/10 of each other, and I'm expecting that those times to be tumbling down as the track begins to rubber in with track evolution.
What time he is going to be doing
near the
in that Red
end of
Bull
the
car,
qualifying
come to
session.
the end of the second sector into the third, kept it inside at 45.345. So hopefully he'll try and push on massively into the last few corners at turns 9 and 10. But this is the part where Beck needs to try and push and try and avoid it going wide at turn 10, and he's done absolutely fine, but he might have a good time. 104.8, 104.8, 2.6, I believe, Craig. 2.6 is the gap from himself to the leader. Wait and see if he can try and improve massively as well. So he is be interested
Yeah,
to
just
see
like on
what he
board
can
with
try and
Mr.
do
Steam
from his
there.
point of view.
Just through the final 2 corners, he was being very cautious, didn't want to invalidate that one. Sets a
The last few corners at
103.5,
turns.
but it
He's
does
going
look as
back
if
into the
he can
pits.
go much
He's
quicker.
going back himself into the pits. Ivan has just got himself into 7th with a 103.616. So still pushing on and doing a fantastic job as always into the top 7, Craig.
A 3.7 getting a Tiger on a 104.2. So looking from all the times set in the top 10 there, Malc, they are within 1.5 seconds, but the toe up towards turn 2 and down towards turn 3 can just be mighty and really get the move done under the heavy braking zones, and that is the best opportunity that drivers can get the move done here at the Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, absolutely, and be interesting to see if they can try and keep that consistency going as well. Just watching Burmeister now, I don't know if he's just really slowing down to get back into the pits. Yes, he is. He's going back into the pits now. But looking at it now, this is the part where the entrance of the pits, the entrance into the pits, that's where people need to be watching out for as well, Craig, because these guys need to be reminded that it's very difficult to enter into the pits as well.
Yeah, and it can be a bit. It goes a bit of a misunderstanding as well if you're following someone, particularly during the race. If they're opting into a pit stop, you could think they're maybe trying to break the toe as they move over to the right hand side. But also, if you're actually catching someone as they're entering the pit lane and you attack turn 9, there's every chance that you may actually collect the driver ahead of you.
Yeah, it could be, because you don't want to get caught up with. It's a blind corner, isn't it? At turn 9, it's one of those parts of the track where you have to be on the ball pretty much, and you can't afford to make any silly mistakes at all, because if you do, it's going to cost you massively.
Yeah, and it's incredibly easy to actually run wide at turn 9. If you misjudge the apex or carry a little bit too much pace, you can actually run off wide to the left hand side, and it is very easy to lose the rear of the car. And if you've got any traffic behind you, it's easy to come back out on back onto track and not only cause your own thermal damage, but the retirement of other drivers as well.
Absolutely, and it's one of those tracks where you can't. Like I said, it's. I love the track. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love the track, but you have to be absolutely vigilant. As I said earlier on, you have to be absolutely spot on and try not to ruin someone's race when you're trying to get back into the pits or try and improve your times as well. But I'm just watching some of the times itself, and Speed Queen, the F1 Esports Pro Exhibition driver. Congratulations to her, by the way, again. An absolute stellar of a job for Speed Queen. But she's moved herself up to 6 with a 103.584, Craig.
Yeah, just slightly behind Mr. Steen in qualifying. I just wanted to jump onto Bird there. He had a little bit of traffic on the outlap, so he really had to back off down the back straight to allow Ginga Tiger past, and that may have cost him a little bit of preparation time on his tyres, but looking to get the job done as he exits turn 1. A little bit of a tank slapper when he was trying to apply the power, looking to move over to the left hand side, get that braking point, trying to kiss the apex. 2 runs a little bit wide, just looking to straighten up the car as early as he can, getting on the power. He's got a little bit of traffic in front of him. He may pick up a little bit of dirty air, but Burmeister just slight lock up on the right hand side there into 3, gets the car rotated onto the right hand side, opening up into that challenging left hander. It's very easy again to run wide and invalidate your lap as well, just coming across the end of sector 2, trying to straighten the car up again on the exit of the corner, approaches turn 9, right over to the left hand side there, attacks that apex, cogs the left hand side to 10, just runs too wide and invalidates the lap, and that is the risk there, Malc, by carrying too much pace through turns 9 and 10.
I tell you what, that's cost him, because Speed Queen has got herself up to top 3 with a 103.186. What a time from Speed Queen, to be fair. Brilliant stuff. Just watching Mr. Steed try and push on into the end of, well, into the first sector, into the second. But I'm trying to have a look. Is there any drivers that you've seen so far during the qualifying itself? Is there any surprise results at the moment for yourself?
I'm just right on board with Rimpa at the moment. Both himself and Ryan de Pavine fighting for that provisional pole position, and both of the cars have come out on track at the same time. Ryan came out the garages first, with Rimpa making the overtake on the approach to turn 4. So Rimpa looking for track position, but Ryan de Pavine has to get out of the way with a car just coming up behind him. I believe that is Speed Queen. So Speed Queen looking to return to the pits after a qualifying lap. Ryan opens up the gap to himself and Rimpa, so that's crucial, not wanting to pick up any of that turbulent dirty air as Rimpa approaches turn 1. Straddles the curb there perfectly, moves over to the right hand side, and it'll be interesting to see what sector 1 time that we get from Rimp. It's a 15.7. Ryan sets a 15.8, so Ryan 1/10 down on Rimpa, as Rimpa is looking to retake provisional pole position from Ryan de Pavine.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just watching his time at the moment, still in the second sector. Ryan with that bit of a lock-up, so hopefully he'll try and push on massively into the third sector itself. So we come up to the end of the second sector into the third, and he's 400 slower. He is 400 slower on his time, so he will not improve. But Stefan, he's hit the 102s, Craig.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic lap there from Stefan Rans as Rimpa crosses the line, does not improve. He was actually 1/10 down, but it looked as if the car was a little bit unsettled through turn 9, and it looked as if the back or the rear of the car was looking to lose a little bit of a grip, starting to actually come round on him, and Ryan able to hold on to second with Rimpa in third. But that is an absolutely fantastic lap from Stefan Rands.
Yeah, well, we both predicted wrong in our times tonight, Craig, with the qualifying itself. So we finally hit the 102s in that barrier itself. So at the moment, Stefan is in first place, Ryan is in second, Rimpa is in third, Speed Queen, she's in fourth, Burmeister is in fifth, Mr. Steen is in sixth, Ivan is in seventh, Louis is in eighth, Matty is in ninth, Ginger Tiger is in 10th, Daryl is in 11th, Beck is in 12th, Joe Hamston is in 13th, Prepsy Boy is in 14th, Tally is in 15th, and Spud, who's just joined in a bit late in the qualifying, but hopefully he'll try and get a lap in as quickly as possible. But Stefan has retired from the qualifying session, Craig.
Yeah, either Stefan Rands think that he's got enough gap and that is the job done, or he just does not have any fresh soft tyres to go any further. And that may leave the door open to Ryan de Pavine and Rimpa if they both have fresh soft tyres remaining.
Yeah, it depends on how much they've got with the tyre. Don't get me wrong, the tyre wear, you can do soft mediums on this track as long as you keep it obviously with the tyre wear perfect and no issues and no much battles, as you could see. But hopefully we'll see a few more battles along the way. But at the moment, as far as we are known, it will be a dry qualifying / race. So we'll find out a bit more in the race itself. So Tally did a 105.8 as that lap itself. But let's have a look at Spud actually. He's just coming in late in the qualifying, but hopefully he'll try and get a good lap into the qualifying. He's just got a driver behind at the moment, so hopefully that's not going to impact the qualifying itself. It is, I believe, one of the Alpha Tauris. So we'll just find out in a moment too. So just watching Spud now. Might help with the Alpha Tauri get that slipstream off so Spud. That might help a little bit, but would that compromise your lap though, Craig, if you was in that position?
It's almost a double-edged sword there. Although you will get the slipstream from the car ahead, you will lose front downforce with the dirty air, so you really want to be running in clean air. I was just, disaster. I was just going to comment there on Speed Queen, who had actually done a double warm-up lap. So she came out of the garage, out of the pits, went round the full lap, used that as another lap to put a temperature cycle in those tyres, and when she did go on to that qualifying run, she invalidated at turn 1. So not the qualifying session, or way to end the qualifying session for Speed Queen, but Ryan de Pavine on an outlap, just coming up to the end of sector 2. Lewis gets out the way, so Ryan de Pavine, can he take pole position from Stefan Rands? He has 3/10 of a second to improve as he just comes round towards turn 9, gets out of turn 10, gets on the power, and he will be hoping to take the front slot of the grid.
Hopefully so, but he's going to try and find 3/10 from somewhere. But looking at the times itself, it is definitely the last sector, Craig. It is the last sector, that's where he has lost the 3/10. He's more or less equal with Stefan. Burmeister has moved up to second place. He has moved himself up to second place with a 103.083. That's a good time there from Burr. Still watching Ryan now. That's where the time he has lost. He's lost 3/10 from... Oh no, that was second sector. I do apologise. I take that back. It was the second sector that he lost 3/10.
Rimpa crosses the line mark, does not improve. Down in his previous lap of 3/100ths of a second. But Ryan de Pavine, big mistake there down at turn 6 and 7. Loses it, possibly pushing the car a little bit too much. Has a Renault coming round behind him. That's Ivan Belov, and Ryan de Pavine loses out on second from Burmeister's lightning lap there late in the session.
Absolutely, and that will cost him dearly, because I think the way he was going at the moment, it would have been a perfect lap So Ryan has retired from the session. Speed Queen has retired. Same with Beck. Ginger Tiger just coming up to the second sector into the third. Only a tenth slower on his time with a 103.8. But some of the drivers are trying to get out of the way as quickly as possible. But let's see if Ginger Tiger can finally be able to try and improve on his time itself. So his best time was a 19.376 on his third sector time. He won't improve with a 104.158 Craig, 104.158. But still, Rimpa moves to second place with 103.029. So that's a good response there from Rimpa.
Yeah, a strange one, because I was actually looking at his timing screen. It did look as if he did not improve on his previous lap, so he may have just went round again there, Malc, and put it into second. So not pole position, but still on the front row of the grid, and he'll be looking to attack Stefan Rans up into turns 1 and probably turns 3 under heavy braking and into that hairpin.
Hopefully so. That's the main point of it all. But I've been really impressed with Stefan, to be fair, Craig. I've been really impressed with Rimpa, Ryan, Speed Queen. You know, those are the guys that obviously I've known them from the F2 side of things, but Stefan has actually stepped up a gear that we have finally been able to see him in this Invictus Cup.
Yeah, finishing second last week, can he go one better and pay a little bit of revenge to Rimpa as we get the qualifying classifications through?
Absolutely, and this is your the Red Bull Ring in the Austrian Grand Prix for the short qualifying classification for the Invictus Cup, sponsored by Nailcoat Hall and Gridfinder.com. You got Stefan, who's in first, Rimpa in second, Burmeister in third, Ryan is in fourth, Speed Queen fifth, Matty in sixth, Mr. Steen seventh, Ivan eighth, Louis in ninth, Joe Amster 10th, Beck in 11th, Ginger Tiger 12th, Daryl 13th, Prepsy Boy 14th, Tally 15th, and Spud in 16th place.
Yeah, and just looking at the drivers finishing qualifying outside the top 10 positions, they'll get the option of fresh tyres, and it'll be interesting to see what tyre choice they go for, whether they opt for the hards going on to the softs later on, or do they feel that they can manage a soft medium strategy. And it will be absolutely on the limit. Any mistakes is certainly going to take up tyre life from those, and it may force the hand onto the harder rubber, or worse yet, having to come in for an unscheduled pit stop.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's if it was me, I would gamble for the mediums to try and go as long as possible without going to blow up the tyres pretty much. So these guys are going to be absolutely precise to get these right. If they go on the hards, it's not going to be beneficial, but yeah, it will help them massively to go as far as they can. But then again, it's just when they're going to go on the softs, because all the other drivers have gambled on like the mediums or the soft medium runners as well. So it will be a limiter, I do agree. So if it was me, I would gamble for the mediums, because this is last. I feel like this is last chance saloon, to be fair, before we come up to race 3 next week, to be fair.
Just being the second race of 3, it is crucial that you accumulate as many points as possible, particularly for those drivers that missed last week. They're going to have to try and make up as many points as they can, but it's not going to be easy, Malc. It looks as if we do have a dry race, so these drivers that have set the fastest lap, they're not going to be easy to chase down. And as I say, it will be interesting to see the drivers from 11th down on what tyre choices they opt for to try and give themselves that advantage once the soft tyres degrade.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is what I was saying. It's the tyre that has to be crucial, and they have to be absolutely spot on as well. So it's going to be bad with the weather itself, because the hot is going to be like warming the track itself, and it's going to burn that rubber as much on, well, a lot of that debris stuff onto the track itself with a lot of rubber as well. So we're coming to the countdown for 10 seconds to get onto the formation lap. So what we normally do is, what is your top 3 predictions? So Craig, who's your top 3 predictions for the race tonight?
I think it has to be Stefan Ranz or Rimpa. But looking at Burmeister as well, impressive lap there to put him in the top 3 positions. But looking at the qualifying pace tonight from Stefan Ranz and Rimpa, and also how they just shot off last week in Canada, you have to say it's one of 2 that will take the race win.
Absolutely. And what's surprising, looking at the tyre wear from outside the top 10, obviously the top 10 will get the tyre wear what they qualified on, to be fair. But then also, there's only 2 drivers who have gambled on the mediums, which I predicted that I would have gone for anyway. But only 2 drivers, Craig. Do you expect to have a few more?
It's very interesting to see drivers such as Beck, Darrell Whiffen, Prebseboy and Towle all go on the soft tyres. It may only give you another maybe 2-3 laps at most to those that have actually qualified on the softs. I would have expected them to go on the mediums and try and extend the runs, the stints between themselves and the top 10 drivers. So they must feel that they've got the pace on the softs to put the pressure on the top 10 running drivers.
Absolutely. So it'd be interesting to see how it all unfolds at the Red Bull Ring in Austria for the Invictus Cup, which is sponsored by Now Coat Hall and gridfinder.com. Please check them out. They do brilliant stuff as well. Please check them out. And if you are watching the stream and you just joined in, good evening to you all. Please make sure you like, subscribe to the Invictus Racing League YouTube channel for all the live races of the Invictus Cup up to the end of June. Check them out, guys. Be a massive help. We are aiming for at least 10 likes tonight. Be a massive help as well. So here we go, guys. The drivers are slowly coming into the starting grids, and we are about to start. Just be interested to see who will try and get a good start into turn 1. Will Stefan hold on? That's the big question of it all. We've got 1 lights, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 red lights, and we are go! So has Rimpa had a good start? It looks like he has got to be a good start. There's quite a few drivers having going side by side, 2 wide at turn 1. There's contact at turn 1. I saw Ryan spun at turn 1. I don't know if he got caught by any of the drivers himself, but we got 3 wide. We nearly had a 3 wide scenario, Craig, between Speedqueen, Ivan and Mr. Steve.
Yeah, I'm just right on board with the front runners at the start there. It looked as if Ryan was coming up the inside of Burmeister at turn 1. Burmeister just closed the door and just unsettled the Alfa Romeo of Ryan Tibivini, and that has sent him to the back of the grid. But we do have Mr. Steen and Ivan Belov going wheel to wheel behind Speed Queen, with Joe Hamster moving from 10th up to 8th. So that's a great start from the Mercedes driver Joe Hamster.
Absolutely, brilliant stuff there from Joe. But to be fair, he did a great race last week on Wednesday for the Austrian Grand Prix. So,
and Darrell Whiffen round the outside of Beck at turn 9, but I think Beck may have had front wing damage as he was coming into the pit lanes. But very brave from Darrell Whiffen there.
Absolutely, but this is what we were saying earlier on, Craig, where if you've got to be careful if anyone's going to go into the pits at this stage, and that's what's crucial at this stage as well. So at the moment, try and see what's going to happen from the front end of the crew itself. But all the drivers are slowly pulling away massively, but Stefan still holding on for first, Craig, still holding on for first.
Yeah, Sir Spud looking to go up the inside of Prebseboy at turn 4, backs out of it. Prebseboy locks up, runs deep, but the pace that he carried through it allows him to defend from Sir Spud behind. But Ginga Tiger looking to come under a little bit of pressure from both Prebseboy and Sir Spud behind, fighting for 12th position.
Absolutely brilliant stuff there from Spud trying to put the pressure on Prepsy Boy as well. So Stefan's got the fastest up of the race with a 106.468. So looking at the times itself, Craig, we are getting a few drivers that are on like 5/10ths of each other. So we're in for a cracker tonight.
Yeah, Stefan Ryan's trying to break that 1 second window between himself and Rimpa. Knows next lap that DRS is going to become active. So Rimpa, can he stay within that 1 second window, as he'll be coming under pressure from Burmeister 9/10ths behind as well. Speed Queen still holding on to 4th with DXT Maddie in 5th, and Ivan Belov and Mr. Steen still fighting for 6th and 7th as well.
Absolutely. I was just watching that battle with Ivan and Mr. Steen. Thought there was going to be a bit of a battle going on, but it looks like they're split out a bit now, because Ivan's trying to close the gap onto Matty, who trying everything he can to get into the top.
Oh,
what's happened?
So Spud down at turn 8, a little bit out of shape, just ran on to the curb on the exit of 8, lost a little bit of the rear of the car, and resulted in him making contact with the barrier. So an unforced error there from Sir Spud, and that will result in a change of front wing, and it is actually a disaster because he did start on the medium tyres. Who's looking to go much longer in this race.
Absolutely. So he's only hope. Well, some of these drivers will be hoping that there will be a safety car coming up soon, but at the moment I can't see that happening the way it's going on that 4 of 36 of the Invictus Cup at the Red Bull Ring as well. So no safety cars so far, Malc, but the gap between 1st and 3rd is separated by 1.5 seconds. But Speed Queen looking to close the gap to Burmeister as well. The gap currently is sitting at 7/10ths, but Matty just sitting slightly further behind. He doesn't want to get too close to Speed Queen, picking up the dirty and then picking up the warnings for track extending. So DXT Matty playing the long game. Absolutely, but if he can play his cards right and try and keep within the pace, I know he's just dropped off a few tenths, but as long as they keep within the gap itself, it'll be fine as well. So the DRS obviously has already been activated a few laps ago, but a bit of a lock up from Speed Queen. Hopefully she'll try and push on now to try and close on, but at the moment can't see that happening. Cannot see that, but Mr. Steen has had a chance to try and close the gap onto Ivan. Ivan have to keep on the right hand side, goes side by side, too wide. Turn 4. This is unbelievable. And Ivan holding on, Craig. Ivan has holding on for 6th place.
Yeah, come under a little bit of pressure there from Mr. Steen. Mr. Steen has a little bit of a window where he can put some pressure on Ivan Belov. The gap 3.4 seconds between himself and the Mercedes of Joe Hamster behind, who is currently fighting fellow Mercedes driver Darrell Whiffen. So this is giving Mr. Steen a bit of a free rein to attack the Renault ahead and DXT Matty in the McLaren for 5th.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully we'll try and push on, but this battle, Mr. Steen lost the back end at turn 1. So
sorry to interrupt you there, Malc, but Rimpa looking to go round the outside of Stefan Rans at 3. He's got a great run out of 3. He's going to have DRS. Can he get it done under heavy braking into 4? Stefan Rans has a little bit of a gap, but can Rimpa brake later? No, Rimpa decides better of it and possibly looking to line him up on the next lap.
Do you think Rimpa will get a chance in the next lap or so, Craig?
Well, he's got 30 laps to go, Malc, so he doesn't actually need to get it done the next lap. But if it gets close enough on the exit of turn 1, he will have DRS up to the heavy braking point of turn 3, that hairpin. But Stefan Rans starting to open up the gap slightly at this point of the lap. The gap up to 7/10ths now, so we'll see if Rimpa can actually close it down with 3 shots of the DRS, 1 on the main straight, the second between turn 1 and 3, and the third between 3 and 4.
Be interested to see what he's going to try and go for it again. Looks like Rimpa's going to have a chance Coming up to turn 3. He's going to try and go for it. No, he's thought about it, but he's got a great exit.
He was waiting for the slingshot of turn 3, Malc. Looking to just get the best exit he could out of 3. Gets the car lined up. Oh, well, he looked to go through the outside of 4. Stefan Ranz defends really well. They're forcing the lockup of Rimpa, but this is playing into the hands of Burmeister, who'll just be sitting there, allowing these two drivers to fight it out amongst themselves. But he can't sit in his laurels too much. His Speed Queen closed the gap now to 0.3 of a second. So we've got a 4-car battle for the lead of the race.
This is quite unbelievable stuff. Come on, this is what we love about it on the Invictus Cup. Brilliant stuff on lap 7 of 36 at the Red Bull Ring. Unbelievable stuff. And at the moment, Stefan is pouring with, I bet he would be pouring with sweat with the pressure from Rimpa, Craig.
Yeah, he'll be certainly feeling the pressure. Just want to go back to the battle for 5th and 6th. It looks as if Ivan Belov gets a move done on DX8 Mate, but Speed Queen looks to go up the inside of Burmeister at 3. Rimpa gets a move done in Stefan Ranz, but Stefan Ranz looking to come back on that run down towards 4. The Red Bull and the Renault wheel to wheel. Rimpa slightly ahead. Can Stefan Ranz get it done? Under breaking up the inside, pushes Rimpa slightly wide, gets the better line through 4 and moves back up to take the lead of the race.
Brilliant racing, Craig. Absolutely brilliant from Stefan and Rimpa. Still holding on, but Speed Queen will be fuming not to get past Burr at turn 3 itself. But again, as you said, we've got plenty of laps to go. Let's see if they can try and pounce as much as possible. Burmeister has got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, Craig.
Yeah, now they're flashed up on Speed Queen's screen there, so she knows she doesn't need to fight Burmeister too much. She has a 3-second advantage to the car ahead. So does Speed Queen just sit in behind this, allow the top 3 drivers to fight it out themselves, or does she want to get this done on track? And we'll have over 25 laps to watch this pan out, Malc.
Absolutely. Rimpa could have a chance to try and close the gap onto Stefan, but not enough. Not enough!
Oh! Queen having a little look up the inside of Burmeister at 4. Wasn't close enough to force the move. Burmeister just leaves enough gap and retains 3rd place. But Ivan Belov and DX Team Mate still battling it out down for 5th and 6th with Mr. Steen slightly behind with Joe Hamster and Ryan to Pavine fighting. So Ryan de Pavine looking to get back through the grid after that early disaster at turn 1 on the opening lap, but now Speed Queen picks up a 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, she'll be absolutely fuming at that opportunity now to get that penalty, so hopefully she'll have to try and get it done. Oh my god! Rimpa has gone off at turn 1 and has lost 2 positions. So now Burmeister and Speed Queen are now moving themselves up to 2nd and 3rd respectively. But what a mistake from Rimpa.
Yeah, and that breathes a little sigh of relief from Stefan Ranz, who is being put to the screw by Rimpa for the last few laps. So will Stefan Ranz start to open up the gap between himself and Rimpa? He already has a 1.1 second advantage to himself and Burmeister. Burmeister carrying that 3-second time penalty, as does Speed Queen, 0.3 behind in 3rd.
Yeah, so this is quite intense stuff, to be fair, Craig. Absolutely intense stuff on the Invictus Cup. We're on lap 10 of 36 of the Invictus Cup at the Red Bull Ring, sponsored by Nailcoat Hall and Gridfinder.com. Check them out, guys. Please check them out. They're a massive help as well. So at the moment, oh sorry, Craig.
Sorry, Malc. I was just going to comment on the battle for 12th. Ginga Tiger holding off Prebsy Boy, who is on the quicker tyre of the 2. So Prebsy Boy unable to find a way past Ginga Tiger at the moment, and that will be hurting Prebsy Boy's race strategy.
Absolutely. So I forgot to mention, actually, do you reckon the undercut would benefit some of these drivers already because of the situation?
Absolutely, Malc, absolutely. With the top 4 drivers battling and being so close to each other, I would expect Rimpa to actually try the undercut and maybe clear these three drivers ahead of him during the pit phase.
Absolutely.
The question is...
Absolutely. Sorry to interrupt you there, Craig. I do apologise, but Mr. Steen and Matty are going side by side, too wide. And they were going too wide through the third sector itself. And that was immense stuff, Craig. Sorry to interrupt you there, Craig.
Yeah, that's okay. So Mr. Steen gets the move done eventually on Matty. He's waited a few laps to do that. And the pit window is open.
Absolutely. So, what was you saying earlier, Craig? Sorry, before I interrupted.
Yeah, just want to refer back to the possible undercut from the top four drivers. Stefan Ranz now holds a 1 second gap to Burmeister, with Speed Queen 4/10 behind in third. Rimpa 1.5 seconds off Speed Queen. So it'll be interesting to see actually who pulls the trigger of these four drivers to initiate the pit phase, as Burmeister looks to close down the gap between himself and Stefan Ranz now. So we do know that we are within the pit window, and it'll be interesting to see who comes into the pits first. It looks as if Stefan Ranz is the first of the leaders to come into the pits. That frees up Burmeister, who stays out on track. Speed Queen stays out behind. Rimpa as well, crucially enough, stays out on track. So we will be watching Stefan Ranz come back out on track, and Burmeister, Speed Queen and Rimpa as well, to see where they are in relation, to see how strong this undercut actually is.
Absolutely, and that will be crucial to all the drivers itself. We're already at third way of the race itself, and Joe Hamster has got a 3-second time penalty for multiple ones, so he'll be fuming at that penalty itself. But we also got this battle. We've got the top two battle. We also got the battle between 4th, 5th and 6th, which we're watching now, between Ivan, Mr. Steen and Matty. And then you've got Ryan out of that again. Another race where he has been struck, like, made a mistake. He got himself back up to 7th place, Craig.
Yeah, and he'll be hoping that the fortune saves him like it did last week. He came in earlier than everyone else with a damaged front wing and managed to cut through the pack. He'll certainly be hoping to repeat the feat this week, but I think he's actually in for a more challenging race at the Red Bull Ring, Malc.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you got to keep your cool and calm. And depending on if there is going to be a safety car itself. Oh my God, Mr. Steen lost the back end at turn 10.
Oh!
What happened,
Stefan Ranz completely misjudges Darrell Whiffen's pace, comes through turns 9 and 10. Looks as if he'd maybe made slight contact. If not, he's got the absolute reactions of a cat to avoid running into the back of the Mercedes. Just looking at his front wing, Malc, I think Stefan Ranz properly got away with one there. There's no damage to that front wing, but absolute panic moment for Stefan Ranz there.
Yeah, I did not see that, Craig, sorry. I did not see what happened, because I was trying to watch this battle for the top 7 itself, but the way you described it, it was like he was a very, very lucky boy on the driver itself, so he'll be absolutely a bit of a relief as well to keep himself in the top 7 itself, Craig.
Yeah, and I think Stefan Ranz may take a little bit more of a cautious approach when he's approaching traffic that he may not be fighting with, as Ivan Belov, Mr. Steen and DXT Matty now come into the pits, as does Rimp, Speed Queen and Burmeister. The question is, Matt, where is Stefan Ranz? And he is exiting turn 10. So how much of a gap does Stefan Ranz get from the undercut?
It would be massive, because he's just gone ahead. He's just gone ahead, Craig. So, but
yeah, Speed Queen holding on to the back of the Haas. So can Speed Queen get she's got a little bit of a run on Burmeister up towards turn 3. Oh, late braking, the both drivers going wheel to wheel through turn 3. Speed Queen takes second place. Burmeister tucks in behind the Williams. But that was a great move there from Speed Queen. Just catches the toe from Burmeister on the exit of the pit lane and gets it done up into turn 3. And now Speed Queen looking to chase down Stefan Ranz.
Absolutely brilliant drive from Speed Queen. Hopefully she'll try and catch up to Stefan Ranz. But again, as I said, the mediums will be able to get to the limiter, but it just depends if they can try and keep it cool and calm. I know Speed Queen, from all the years that I've seen her in the F2s and the F1s, but yeah, she is the master of the tyre, like saving the tyres itself. So hopefully Speed Queen will try and bring her magic to hold on to the saving of the tyres. We've got yellow flags on Sector 3.
Yeah, I think that's Ryan de Pavine loses it at turn 9. Has he lost his front wing? Looks as if he has. Malc, he's coming back into the pit lane. So not the race that Ryan de Pavine had imagined prior to lights out this evening.
Oh, he'll be absolutely fuming because he was thinking that he was hoping to get back himself into the top 3 again after what happened last week with that bad start, and then he's got another one, and now unfortunately he's back into 16th. But be very what's the word I'm after? Be very lucky for him to try and get back into the top 10 as quickly as possible.
Yeah, he's got no other choice for it. He has to put on the hard tyres, and just to see how many positions that he can make up with 20 laps remaining of this race. But I just want to make a comment to the strategy choice between Stefan Ranz, Speed Queen, Burmeister and Rimper. Stefan Ranz pitting earlier, opting for the hard tyres, certainly going to the end of the race. The question is, can Speed Queen, Burmeister and Rimper take these mediums to the end? They're going to have to be very careful that they don't lose too much tyre life fighting each other or the race leader Stefan Ranz at the moment.
That is a good question actually, because Stefan's tyre wear is going to be fine, or whatever happens it's going to be fine. But it just depends on probably about the last 5 laps, I would say, to watch out for the medium tyres to see the tyre deck going down. With the hard tyres, it should be alright for Stefan, but needs to keep it consistent and keep it cool and calm, Craig.
And Stefan Ranz knows he's got a 3-second window advantage as well between himself, Speed Queen and Burmeister, who had picked up the 3-second time penalties for track extending. But he'll be keeping one eye on the Red Bull driver Rimpa 37, who has also not accumulated any penalties. The Speed Queen looks to make the move up towards turn 3, moves to the inside, DRS open, Speed Queen moves up to third, Burmeister tries up the inside as well, it's Stefan Ranz, but Stefan Ranz has him covered off, but Speed Queen takes the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix, but Burmeister makes... Burmeister can't get the curse one down! Oh, Burmeister was trying that move up the inside of 4 on Stefan Ranz, locks up the tyres, just clicks the back of Speed Queen. I think he was really trying to avoid tagging the Williams, and Burmeister just needs to get back up to race pace, put that behind him and just get on with the job at hand. He has half of the race remaining. Can he put himself back within touching distance of a podium position for this race?
Unless Speed Queen, Rimpa and Stefan Ranz makes massive mistakes, it's going to be tough. But don't get me wrong, Burmeister out of nowhere can produce the goods, so it'd be interesting to see what times he can try and do from the F1 driver from last season. But again, 6 seconds is the gap between himself and Rimpa, with that 3-second, so he's got 9-second gap itself, so he's going to be absolutely try push.
And Burmeister coming under a little bit of pressure from the Renault of Ivan Belov, who'll now be in the DRS window as well. Burmeister a little bit out of shape out of turn 3. Ivan Belov with DRS moves to the outside, looking to pass his Burmeister, gives him a little bit of a squeeze. It's tight between the Haas and the Renault, but Ivan Belov gets the move done round the outside. Burmeister just tucks in the gearbox of that Renault, another lock up as well. So Burmeister certainly trying to drive this car to the limit, getting himself back into contention for a podium, but he has it all to do now, sitting in 5th position.
He needs to try and do something as quickly as possible, but
yeah, he's opting to come into the pits there, Malc, so possibly struggling with the mediums. Probably, yeah, I think he's really, just destroyed the tyre life there with the spin and the lockups, and he's actually called it an evening.
it's a shame because I would have liked to see what happened with Bird coming up to the top 3 battle with himself and Speed Queen, but it was just an unfortunate late breaking from his point of view, Craig.
Yeah, he was unlucky there. Just a little bit too aggressive with the move on. Stefan Ryan's in 4th, locked up the brakes, just tagged the rear of Speed Queen, causing the half spin, and that effectively ruled him out of tonight's race. But there could have been a safety car, and that could have brought him back into contention, but he has opted to retire from the race.
So Burmeister is the only driver to have hit the DNF tonight in the Invictus Cup on a lap 21 of 36. And interestingly enough, Craig, which I was surprised with the hard tyres, I thought they would have been slow enough to get drifted apart from the mediums itself, but he's getting close to Speed Queen in first place.
Yeah, just sticking behind Speed Queen. He knows he has that 3-second window, Malc, just using DRS to hold on to the back of the Williams, staying within that 3-second window, and he just needs to do this all race.
Absolutely. But as I said earlier on, he needs to watch out for Rimpa, because he'll be the one to try and catch up to Stefan. He could be the one that could ruin his at least second place position. But at the moment, on lap 21 and 36 on the Invictus Cup at the Red Bull Ring, sponsored by Nail Coat Hall and gridfinder.com, his Speed Queen is in the lead in first, Stefan is in second, Rimpa is in third, Ivan is in fourth, Mr. Steen is in fifth, Matty is in 6th, Daryl's in 7th, Louis is in 8th, Beck is in 9th, Prepsy Boy is in 10th, Ginger Tiger is in 11th, Joe Amster is in 12th, Dal is in 13th, so Spud in 14th, and Ryan is in 15th place. Craig.
Mr. Steen looking to just hold on to the back of Ivan Belov, coming out of turn 10, gets a DRS again out of turn 1. Will he get close enough for a move up into 3? He opts against it. He's just going to look to straighten up the car and get the best exit he can out of 3, but Ivan Belov gets an absolutely fantastic exit as he hooks up the slingshot round turn 3. Ivan Belov tries to defend him, but Mr. Steen goes up the inside, locks up the tyres, but loses out again to Ivan Belov from that lock-up. So Mr. Steen maybe just needs to brake a little bit earlier, avoiding that lock-up, so that he can hold it round the inside of Ivan Belov. Ivan Belov will just be watching for Mr. Steen drifting wide and then just retaking that position. It looks as if that's been happening over the last few laps.
So it'll be one battle to watch out for in the Red Bull Ring in Austria as well. So that was immense stuff from them too, to be fair. So looking at this and looking at the penalties itself, Craig, so obviously we've got Joe Hamster, we have got Tal, who's in 14th, well technically 13th at the moment. They've got six seconds worth of penalties, and the majority of the drivers have all got 3 seconds worth of penalties as well. And Beck has dropped down to 11th and 12th, so he's going to the pits itself. So, but he is also on the fresh medium tyres. So do you think that's a bit of shouldn't he have gone for the softs, or do you think he had enough of those soft tyres?
He maybe just feels that his tyre wear is too high to go on the sauce with 13 laps remaining. It's going to be really on the limit taking the softs 13 laps here, so possibly feels that the mediums are the best call for this point in the race. It will certainly get him the full distance. So yeah, Mr. Beck 9000 feels that is the best call, and he's actually put a little bit of pressure on Towle round turn 4, so a little bit of pressure on the McLaren driver. Beck trying to get it done up the inside the 4, gets the move done and moves up to 13th place. So Beck 9000 certainly utilising those fresh medium tyres.
That's a good start for Beck, and hopefully he'll try and get himself into the top 10 as well. Again, just a reminder, guys, the points that you get is the similarity of the rear of the Realistic Performance League points. So wherever points that you get, you will, as long as you finish, you will guarantee points. If you get a DNF, DSQ, or did not start, you will not get any points at all. So this is why the points are absolutely crucial on race 2 of 3 of the Invictus Cup, Craig.
Yeah, just looking at the time between Mr. Steen and Ivan Belov, sitting around 0.5, 0.8 of a second. It looks like Mr. Steen closes the gap coming through sector 2, and then Ivan Belov starts to open up in sector 3. But now Mr. Steen should have three bites of the DRS apple as he tries to close the gap to Ivan Belov. But just looking at where Mr. Steen's been trying to line up Ivan Belov, it's predominantly been at turn 4. But going downhill, braking a little bit later, he's been locking up those front tyres frequently, and that's allowed Ivan Belov to retake 4th position. So Mr. Steen might need to rethink his strategy and look to see where else he can maybe put a little bit of pressure on the Renault driver Ivan Belov.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Craig, because it's just interesting to see when he's actually going to try and attack Ivan Belov in for 4th place. But at the moment, it looks like he's just trying to be settled for 5th, but he's just hoping that Ivan has made a mistake somehow. But at the moment, Ivan's done a stellar job, Craig, to hold on for 4th.
Yeah, I'm just watching Stefan Ranz there tucking in behind Speed Queen. He saw that he had a little bit of overspeed going into turn 3, opted to pull out of the slipstream so that he didn't actually put himself in an overtaking position. So Stefan Ranz quite happy to sit in behind Speed Queen. But looking at the gap between Speed Queen and Rimpa, the gap holding at around 4.6 seconds at the moment. So Speed Queen certainly broken that 3-second window between herself and Rimpa in 3rd.
Yeah, so at the moment, Rimpa needs to step up a gear if he really wants to try and close the gap to finish off in 2nd place, and Speed Queen to drop down to 3rd. It looks like Mr. Steen has got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, so that will compromise his lap to try and close the gap onto Ivan for 4th place at the moment. So Spudder's dropped down to 16. Ryan has moved to 15th place, but Ryan is the only one who's got the fastest lap of the race with a 106.026, and Louis has got a 3-second time penalty, Craig.
Yeah, just looking at the gap again between Speed Queen and Stefan Ranz, holding at 5.5 seconds. So Stefan Ranz definitely not looking to put any pressure on Speed Queen at the moment. He's happy to just use the DRS to save fuel and DRS while watching the gap between himself and Rimpa behind in 4.6 seconds. But Mr. Steen looking to close the gap now between himself and Ivan Belov, down now to 0.2 of a second. So Mr. Steen getting a little bit closer to the Renault ahead.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what he's going to try and do at the moment. But 0.4 is the gap itself for 4th place. But we're still watching this battle between Stefan and Speed Queen. Stefan's got the chance. He's 0.3 now, getting close to Speed Queen with that DRS. He's got a chance to try and go on the inside line at turn, passing turn 2 into turn 3. Brilliant move. But will Speed Queen bounce back? Speed Queen will not bounce back. It looks like she's trying to save her ERS, Craig.
Yeah, she's possibly just going into ERS saving mode, possibly using quite a bit of that, trying to defend from the Renault behind. So Stefan Ranz probably just got a little bit tired sitting behind that Williams, looking to press on and open up the gap between himself and his podium rivals. But that could possibly be an indicator that Stefan Ranz has maybe picked up a few warnings and doesn't want to risk picking up that time penalty, leaving him vulnerable to Speed Queen and Rimpa behind.
Absolutely, and he's trying to be absolutely cautious whatever happens tonight, so hopefully he can try and keep it cautious in the next 9 laps itself. 8 laps itself, I do apologise. for that technical error. We've got, obviously, Speed Queen closing the gap with 4/10. Still with Ivan and Mr. Steen again with 4/10. So Mr. Steen on that DRS zone itself. So hopefully he'll try and bounce back as quickly as possible. But at the moment, it's been, and I think this has been a brilliant race, Craig.
Yeah, we've had a few battles up and down the grid. I just want to go back to talking about Mr. Steen and Ivan Belov. You were mentioning there, Malc. I was just right on board with Mr. Steen along the main straight. Interestingly enough, Ivan Belov pulled over to the right hand side, trying to break the toe, and Mr. Steen did not follow him across. And I do find that quite interesting, that he wouldn't use every tool that he can to try and reduce the gap as much as possible to try and effect a move up into the heavy braking zone at turn 3.
It is quite interesting from his point of view, but again, he's just probably just trying to keep it on the one side, try and see if he can try and close the gap. He's gained that slipstream now, try and close the gap onto Ivan.
Oh, Speed Queen up the inside of turn 3, and it's going to be a drag race down towards turn 4. Who has the quickest car in a straight line? DRS not active on the Williams, so both drivers without DRS, and it looks as if the Williams is quicker in a straight line compared to the Renault Stefan Ranz.
Yeah, so at the moment, Speed Queen, she needs to push now. She really needs to push. And it looks like Mr. Steen has finally gone past Ivan. No, he hasn't. Ivan's got himself back up to 4th. So Mr. Steen, these two are having a proper battle at the Red Bull Ring itself in Austria. And I'll tell you what, brilliant driving from all the drivers itself, but unbelievable stuff.
And it was another attempt down at turn 4 as well, Malc. So I just caught the last thought. I wasn't sure if Mr. Steen locked up the tyres again, which allowed Ivan Belov just to retain 4th place. But Stefan Ranz looking to close down the gap between himself and Speed Queen. But just to refer back to the strategy call between Speed Queen and Stefan Ranz as well, although Speed Queen will look to increase the gap between herself and Stefan Ranz in second, it's a very fine line between pushing each lap and also preserving tyre life. So Speed Queen doesn't want to push the mediums too much and just destroying these tyres, leaving herself vulnerable to Rimper and Mr. Steen as well as Ivan Belov behind us. Both drivers trade positions again at turn 4, so Mr. Steen really favouring turn 4 for that overtaking move against Ivan Belov.
To be fair though, Craig, Mr. Steen did try and make the move in the first DRS zone after turn 1, but then there was side by side after turn 3, and I tell you what, Ivan kept himself composed to try and hold on to 4th place. But now Mr. Steen has got another chance to try and get himself back up to 4th place, and hopefully he'll try and hold on as much as possible.
And there's a little bit of traffic for the leaders of the race to negotiate there. Speed Queen picking up the DRS from Towel, and that allows her to open up the gap between herself and Stefan Ranz. So both the DRS being neutralised there for Stefan Ranz and Speed Queen as both leaders of the race negotiate the back markers.
Absolutely, to be fair. And Louis has dropped himself down to 10th place. He knocked off a few positions. I don't know what actually happened to him from his point of view, but he's actually dropped himself way down to 11th now. So just trying to see where he is. He's just passing turn 1 now. So must be a massive mistake from his point of view, but hopefully he'll try and bounce back. I do apologise if it is wrong from that point of view, but at the moment Stefan is getting close to Speed Queen with 4 laps to go, Craig.
Yeah, Mr. Steen closing down that gap to Ivan Belov as we move on to the main street. Mr. Steen does come across to pick up the toe from Ivan Belov down the main street up towards turn 1. Oh, Mr. Steen misses the apex slightly. I think it was just a little bit unsighted from the car ahead, but Mr. Steen getting the run on the Renault. Oh! Ivan Belov, a late move over to the right to try and block off. That was a bit cheeky there, and the stewards may have a little look at at that, as that could have ended in disaster there for both Ivan Belov and Mr. Steen, as they both looked to make another overtaking move into turn 4. Ivan Belov trying to squeeze, both drivers banging wheels. Round 4, can Mr. Steen get it run round the outside? But Ivan Belov keeps a hold of 4. Mr. Steen looking up the inside of 5. There is literally a sheet of paper's width between the cars as both drivers come through turns 4 to 7.
I bet you've lost your voice there, Craig.
Yeah, a great bit of racing there from the last sequence of corners between Ivan Belov and Mr. Steen there, both drivers really pushing each other hard.
But also, while these two are battling now, Matty is getting closer into these two battles, and he could have a chance to finish off in 4th, Craig, unless I'm mistaken. Yeah, he could try close up to finish off in 4th if he can play his cards right. Yeah, flag accepted too.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that, Malc. Looks as if we've got, I think that might be Ryan. Definitely having a difficult race this evening, and he's called it a night as results in a retirement on track. But just going back to this battle for 4th position, Malc, you did mention that DXT Matty has closed the gap. He has to be very careful that he does not get involved with the contact between these two, hoping to maybe just get an opportune moment round the outside while both these drivers are battling. But the gap at the front holding to 4/10 of a second as well. So we've got a few battles happening on track at the moment.
Absolutely, and you still know which one to pick at the moment. We're on the penultimate lap now, guys. We're on the penultimate lap. Oh, the Invictus Cup. Unbelievable stuff. Speed Queen holding on for first, but she will lose out to first place to Stefan, who's got no penalty at the moment. But if he does, that could be confirmed now.
That could prove absolutely crucial there, Malc. Speed Queen picks up a second 3-second time penalty, resulting in 6 seconds total. Yeah,
so gutted for Speed Queen. She was trying everything she can to hold on to get that 3-second gap itself, but at the moment now it's a massive task now for Speed Queen. Unless Stefan gets 2 penalties within the next 2 laps, I can't see that happening, Craig.
No, I think Speed Queen will just be focusing on maintaining a 6-second gap. A little hesitant on the power there from Speed Queen. Looks as if she was getting a little bit out of shape out of turn 1. That allows Stefan Rands to retake the lead of the race, but Speed Queen's eyes will be on Rimpa behind, who has not accumulated any time penalties. The gap currently sitting at 7.6 seconds. She needs to hold that at 6 seconds, so she has to maintain a 1.5 second advantage to the car behind. So Rimpa will be really pushing, trying to close it under 6 seconds to take second in the race. But DXT Matty looking to put a little bit of pressure on Ivan Belov as Mr. Steen gets the move done up into 4th, but he is carrying that 3-second time penalty.
Absolutely, so he's trying to push everything he can, but unfortunately I'm going to have to go straight back to the leader, because Stefan is going to be crossing the line to win the Austrian Grand Prix at the Red Bull Ring. What a drive from him, brilliant stuff. Speed Queen finished off in second, but will Rimpa try and hold on to close the gap, but not enough to get second place, so Rimpa will finish off in third. Mr. Steen, after that battle with Ivan earlier on, and he's got himself into 4th. Well, actually, no, sorry, he might drop down to a few positions, because Ivan will finish off in 4th, Matty will finish off in 5th, Mr. Steen will finish off in 6th place. Daryl, well, this is going to be interesting, because, well, actually, Daryl will finish off in 7th. Prepsy Boy, after that struggles last week with his car, he's got himself a good position in 8th place as well. And then Ginger Tiger, and Louis, and Joe, and Beck will finish off the roundup in a moment too. But we'll get the classifications properly in a moment too, guys. So Ginger Tiger will finish off in 9th. Louis will finish off in, I believe, in 12th place. Yes, he is. He did finish off in 12th place at the moment, but yeah, but brilliant. That was great driving from all drivers itself, and the game has decided to pick Darrell as the driver of the day. So we'll get Craig's view of the driver of the day to see if Darrell is the one to watch, but of the driver of the day itself. But at the moment, well done to Stefan Ranz. A brilliant drive from him again. Speed Queen again. She's done an amazing job again to finish off in second place. And Rempa. So the top 3 drivers, all from the F2 League last season, done it again, Craig.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic race there. Right at the end for the race victory. Cannot fault the top 2 drivers of Stefan Ranz and Speed Queen for that final few lap battle for the race victory. But Stefan Ranz will be absolutely delighted to take the race win tonight after finishing second last week in Canada alongside his teammate Ivan Belov. So that's a strong night for their team as well in Group 2.
Brilliant stuff, absolutely, to be fair. But here are your race classification for the Red Bull Ring in Austria, for the Austrian Grand Prix for Group 2. Sponsored by Malc and gridfinder.com. You've got Stefan Ranz is in first, Speed Queen in second, Rimpa third, Ivan in fourth, Matty in fifth, Mr. Steen 6th, Darrell 7th, Prepsy Boy in 8th, Judgy Tiger 9th, Beck in 10th, Joe Hamster in 11th, Louis is in 12th, Tal is in 13th, Spud 14th, Ryan and Burmeister are the only ones who have had the DNF tonight as well. We will be back in about a few minutes time for the podium questions and interviews, so don't go anywhere guys, we'll be right back. Good evening everyone and welcome back to the Invictus Cup for Group 2, Race 2. And we've just done the Austrian Grand Prix, which was at the Red Bull Ring, and it is sponsored by now Kotor and also gridfinder.com. Please check them out guys, they're doing absolute stellar jobs as well. But we have got Stefan, who's just joined us in the commentators box. So I'll let Craig to do the usual, to be fair.
Thank you, Malc. Stefan, congratulations, you are the Austrian Grand Prix winner. How does it feel securing the race domination from taking pole as well as the race victory after last week finishing second?
I don't know what to say really. It's my first win in Invictus. I don't think I could have driven a better race, to be honest. I think I only got one warning during the race. I pitted for the hards, thinking I wasn't confident going on mediums for 20 plus laps. I knew they'd drop off, but then when they came out, I was a bit worried for a bit until I got stuck behind Speed Queen, and I saw that she had no ERS, and I had about 60%, and I could just stroll for the rest of the race pretty much. So I just stayed behind for the most part.
And we did see that you would opt to pull out of the slipstream and just tuck in behind. You'd indicated there that was a bit of a plan, just to stroll. Was it just that case then that you were saving fuel, ERS, keeping behind Speed Queen while watching the gap to Rimpa behind?
Yeah, the ERS was the main point, because obviously I saw as soon as she passed me, she was flashing for the rest of the race. I didn't really have to use mine, so I just saved it up, and I saw that the gap to Rimpa was just increasing, so I knew I could have passed her and tried pushing on, but I didn't want to risk, getting any penalties or damage.
And despite losing Ryan during the race, resulting in a DNF, a strong finish from teammates Ivan Belov in 4th and Prebzy Boy in 8th, and I think that further opens up your lead advantage in Group 2 as well. So surely, without a massive disaster next week in Mexico, you have to be the favourite team to qualify in first place for the knockout phase. Is that what your thoughts are at the moment, or is it just that you're taking one race at a time?
I'm personally just taking one race at a time, focus on each track as it comes along. But, I've got to give a big shout out to Ivan and Prezi for putting in the performance they put in, because it really helped, because Ryan also had his mistake at the end and spun out.
Looking at how tonight's race went against Burmeister initially, before he caught the rear of Speed Queen spinning and retiring, Rimpa tonight after last week find it tough to keep up with them, as well as Speed Queen as well. Does that give you a bit of an advantage, not only for next week but next season?
Yeah, I think the first part of the season I was a completely different driver. I was running different assists. Now I've basically took everything off apart from ABS, and I feel a lot quicker, and I'm getting a lot more confidence as I drive more tracks.
So you mentioned there that you feel you're developing as a driver, and is that where the focus is from now until the start of the new season in August? Is it just about developing as a driver, just tightening up on a few issues, just trying to give yourself that best opportunity for next season?
Yeah, I'm trying to close the gap towards the top, because obviously I was quite in the midfield for most of the season. I couldn't really keep up with Rimpa or any of the front guys for the most part, but to be battling with them now and even beating them, it's quite a confidence booster.
Well, thank you for tonight, Stefan. Thanks for joining us for the post-race interviews. Congratulations again for securing tonight's race victory, and good luck next week in the Mexican Grand Prix, the final race of the group stage for Group 2, which will be next Wednesday evening at 8 PM.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, well done to Stefan, who has just won the Austrian Grand Prix at the Red Bull Ring. Brilliant drive from him. Bet you Speed Queen and also Rimpa, they will both be delighted to finish off in the top 3 as well. So, Craig, we forgot to mention actually, who's your driver of the day before we wrap it up?
I think there can only be one driver worth talking about, and that's Stefan Rans. Secured pole, led the laps initially for the race, so was just doing what he needed to do, and opted for a different strategy after the pit stop, and was able to hold off drivers on much faster tyres than him. So really just managed the entire race throughout to then take the race victory after the penalties were applied, and that must be a driver high in confidence. Second last week, the race victory this week, and you heard it from himself. You know, he's feeling more confident driving the car, and you know, that must be setting him up in a great position for next week and next season as well.
Absolutely, and you need that confidence boost, because otherwise, if you get a slight hitch, you will lose that confidence that you've started from. But I've been really impressed with Stefan. As I said, I've been really impressed with his confidence and his growth this season gone in F2. So, and it's just brought himself a lot more confident to go himself into the Invictus Cup as well. So hopefully he will try and get another win next week, but we'll have to wait and see how it all plans out. But this was Group 2 Race 2. Tonight, Wednesday night, we will have Group 1 Race 2 at the same track, at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. So, Craig, you'll be there as always. But thank you very much for joining tonight, mate. Brilliant stuff from you.
And thank you. And look forward to seeing what Group 1 brings us on Wednesday.
Absolutely. So for the final time, guys, can you please make sure you like and subscribe to the Invictus Racing League YouTube channel for all the live races itself during the Invictus Cup up to the end of June. And we also got all the social media sites on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, so check them out, guys, and also check out the InvictusRacingLeague.com for all those news and everything that goes on the website itself. But cheers for that, guys. We'll see you. We both see you on Wednesday night. So don't, like I said, don't miss out, guys. See you that. Cheers for that, guys. Take care. Bye bye.